And welcome back to the ABCs of ERP and Beyond, the podcast all about enterprise resource planning and how it helps modern day businesses operate. And in today's episode, we are all about those first few clicks in Business Central, the ones that either make you feel right at home or totally lost. So if you have just been handed a login and told off you go, well, this is the episode for you. We're going to dive into the top 10 things that will help you navigate BC like you actually belong there. So everything from understanding what you're looking at, knowing where to go next, how to find things, and really trying to make the system work a bit better for you. This isn't a normal setup guide or a tech demo. It's just the stuff that everyone kind of assumes and no one really tells you about, but everyone kind of expects you to know. So whether you're in finance, ops, or you're just a little bit curious about Business Central and how you navigate around, hopefully we're going to break down some of those things in today's episode. And I couldn't do it without my fellow co-host as ever, Nirav. Welcome back.
Thank you, Peter. Great introduction, by the way, because that's exactly how a lot of people get their first experiences into Business Central. It's here's a system, start using it right away.
Off you go.
And off you go. Exactly. And there's, the system is pretty intuitive, but if you don't know how to kind of navigate around, it could take you much longer to do things than it needs to take you, right? So this is exactly what we're trying to help other users out. Maybe you know all these 10 different items that we're going to go through today, or maybe you just know 2 or 3 of them and the other ones are new to you. So, I'm thinking that, most users are going to get something out of this podcast. It's great because although it's very basic, I think a lot of these are powerful features that anyone could start using right away to, make their day-to-day workflow within Business Central much easier. So this is a fantastic episode that we kind of came up with and trying to really hit it out with those users that, have been handed this beautiful new shiny, system that they need to start managing. But, they don't know the best ways to move around the system. So let's jump right in. Peter, what do you say?
Yeah, let's go for it. So I know you've thrown your screen up now, so you should be able to see that. I should caveat this with saying this is also going to YouTube. So if you are listening to us right now saying, what screen? Well, you'll find it on the YouTube video, not just the audio. But hopefully, if you are just listening to the audio version, you should be able to get some of these top 10s through just audio, but make sure you check us out on YouTube. So, Nirav, thank you for throwing your screen up. We might as well start right from the top here. Number 1,
let's do it.
Environment and the whole kind of choosing which company you're in.
Yeah, exactly. This I think is very basic, and if you're set up, let's say whoever set you up in the wrong environment or wrong company, you need to be able to identify that right away, because the last thing you want to do is start doing transactions in the wrong company, right? And then start thinking you're doing transactions, but then all of a sudden you realize like 2 hours into your workday, oh, wait a minute, I'm in the wrong place. I need to go back and redo everything I did. So first thing you should
normally
do
once you've done it, when you finish, you're looking back, you're like, my 40 orders are now on the system. Oh, crap.
Wrong company or wrong environment, and this is, a lot of times when partners implement, they'll create like a sandbox environment, then do create a production environment.
Yeah.
But then what happens when you go live is that you have your production with your live company, and then the partner will generally delete the old sandbox, create a new sandbox with the same production company name on it. So you may not even realize that you're in a sandbox doing transactions because the company name is exactly the same. So tip number 1, if you're out there, if you're a partner or if you're a customer, your sandbox company name should be slightly different than your production company names. It'll just make it easier for you and alleviate a lot of grief at the end of the day. But you want to know right when you log in for the day, hey, what company am I in doing transactions? So that is within my Business Central a role center here, right up here on the top right, you'll see I'm kind of hovering over my mouse, and you'll see environment. And here it'll tell you what database you're in within the environment. So I'm in my sandbox, and if I select that, that will then tell me, well, I'm in my sandbox in my Business Central headquarters company. Okay, now another dead giveaway is going to be on the top left of your client. It's going to tell you what company you're in. But by chance, if that happens to be the same in all your different instances, well, you can see what environment you're in, what instance is it, is a sandbox, is it production, and then what company you're in. Right. So I think that's huge. And then if you need to switch between companies, you could always select this and go through and go between companies here and select whichever company you have access to get into that other company you need to be in. So that, I think, is tip number one, which is very basic, but I think, we assume as users, some users will assume that they're always going to be in the right company, which might not be always the case. So if there's any security changes, right, you have a new person that's coming in to manage your users, so on and so forth, they may have, put you into the wrong company or put you into, give you the wrong permissions. Well, you need to kind of keep your eye out on that as soon as you log in. So that's, I think, number one, from a navigation standpoint. Know what company you're in. Just know it. Just know what company you're working in.
And do anything you can, if you have got a sandbox, do anything you can to make it obvious you are. Like, change that headline to "This is the sandbox," or even just the company logo. Like, slap in, a jarring color "test" right across.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. So that you could change this icon essentially through company information, and as Peter, as you mentioned, it's 3 digits. And you can make it, I think, 7 or 8 different colors that Microsoft offers out of the box. So make it something that's so, glaring that, your eye will go there right away and you'll know what company you're in.
Very good. Number 2, role center. So what is a role center?
Yeah. A role center is a unique, I think, probably concept for Business Central. Users are assigned roles in the system. So, you would have users that are planners. You would have users that are warehouse workers. You'll have users that are sales order processors. Well, those users have a specific role center assigned to that role, right? And keep this in your back of your head if you're a user. Do I have the right role center assigned to me? And what that means is, for what you do day to day, is it easy for you to access all your functions right from your homepage or your role center? This screen right here, right? So when you come in and you log in, can you get to everything you need to get to directly from this page here? If you can, and let's say there's only 1 or 2 items that you could use, there may be a chance that you don't have the right role center assigned to you. So you want to make sure you have the right role center assigned to you, so you benefit from kind of staying in one place. That becomes your home page, and you could quickly take actions from these different tiles here that more mirror your job responsibility. So you're managing exceptions and not having to go find the transactions that you have to work on, right? So I think this is another really important point, that if you understand that this role center that you're using is made for you out of the box for your day-to-day job, it's going to make it easier for you to stay on top of that information or those transactions that you need to work on right away. So, like, for example, I'm going to change my work center. This is my project manager role center, but let's just say I am a sales order processor. So now you'll notice when I change my role center to sales order processor, the system's going to fully update here and give me functions, transactions, and queues, what like Microsoft calls action queues, related to a sales order processor. What things should they, keep an eye on at the end of the day?
So things they care about, right? When they turn up to work, what are the things they care about?
Exactly. And furthermore, right, as you look at some of these tiles, it's kind of giving you this stoplight indicator. Like, hey, if you see anything that's red, there's some major issues here. You need to get into that table, into those orders, and start reviewing what's going on. So then you could complete them and move them along, right? Or talk to the customer about it, or whatever it is. Things that are green, that means like, hey, you're kind of right within your tolerance. You're within your target. No real action you got to do there. Keep your eye on it and continue as things are going. So I really like this. It really brings your eyes to specific things that you got to do or not do on a daily basis. So role center is a very important concept to understand and know, is this role center defined and created to ensure your success as a user? So, there's a lot of different things within the role center. We won't get that deep into the role center, but this is one that, you want to make sure is suited for you to do your job every single day.
Very good. Straight on to number 3. Well, actually, yeah, I'm going to change around our list here. Number 3, because you kind of referenced it. I want to see what else we can do on this. Number 3 is going to be personalization. So here's my role center, right? So I kind of care about these things, but maybe the one default out the box, maybe my environment isn't quite like, maybe I've been there, it's a new company, new job. I've got my login. I'm kind of comfortable now. But I want to make some tweaks. So what can we do in terms of personalization? I guess in not necessarily just the role center, but just in general in Business Central, what can a user do to make it feel a little bit more like it's their environment?
Yeah. So back in the day, a lot of that, which you're just referring to, would be a customization, but now this is what we call a personalization. So right within the toolbar, you could personalize your screens. And what that means is that you could then drag and drop and, add different elements to the page that currently don't show. In my situation, I'm showing everything in this role center. But like, if I want to show, like, for example, here, intercompany is hidden, right? I could go ahead and show this if I want as part of my personalization. If I want to move this around, let's say I want to move job tasks around, to between approvals and user tasks. Well, I could just quickly move that and the system will dynamically change the view of the screen based on my indication of what I want to do here. If I want to hide job tasks, well, I could just go ahead and click that little triangle and hide that. And now when I hit done, you'll notice that is gone from my view. So personalization is really nice as well, because you could then move things in certain positions that make natural sense for your business, for you as a person in your department or in your position, that make natural sense. So you don't have to, scroll around everywhere and everything's kind of looks promoted in the right places that you need it to be.
Yep. Okay, very good. Role center looks great. I love the tiles. Kind of, we've got the KPI, live KPI numbers and metrics going on. I know there's some spoilers further down that we just saw on some of the charting. But I just want to ask now that we've got a super clean cloud-based modern ERP. I noticed that we haven't got those jarring nav menus we used to have back in Nav Classic and stuff. But what does a modern ERP look like? Because I don't want to go back to the days of sub menus within sub menus and stuff. So number 4 is the whole search feature. So what have we got in BC for search?
Yeah, really powerful. And there's probably most users know about the search feature, but you probably don't know something deeper into the search feature. And by the way, Microsoft calls it Tell Me. So that is this magnifying glass on the toolbar of search. It's called the Tell Me bar. Tell me what you want to do, right? You don't know what to search for, try exploring pages, and then try exploring reports. However, this is more powerful than that. Let's say I wanted to search chart of accounts, right? As I search chart of accounts, it starts opening up a few different elements in this particular Tell Me screen here. So it's first telling me chart of, there's some reports named stacked area, stacked column within my role center, because that's where that's where I've invoked this Tell Me function. And then it then tells me, all right, well, there's 9 functions that relate to under pages and tasks, where you have chart of accounts, chart of cost types, chart of cost centers, right? You notice the theme here, chart of, because that's all I wrote here. And then under reports and analysis, we have two reports and analysis, with this particular finding here. So if I were just to select here, right, it's going to keep honing in on my search, chart of accounts. It's going to know pretty easily, okay, I'm looking for a chart of accounts.
Yeah.
It'll kind of take me bubble that up to the top, right? Now, what
But
you
also,
don't
it's
know,
giving you other things as well. Because we didn't,
It
when you
has.
just had chart of, we didn't have chart of accounts overview, chart of cash
Right.
flow accounts. So
Right.
the more specific you get, it's like, oh, okay, so you really want something to do with chart of accounts. Well, here's some more suggestions of things, which I really like.
Yeah, which is
So
fantastic,
you're giving it a
right?
new context, aren't you, really? Because chart of could have been anything. Chart of sales revenue.
It could have been anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. It could have been anything. And then right when you find the function you're looking for, you could always bookmark it. Bookmarking it puts it up here in your role center, this second line, what I like to say here.
Mm-hmm.
But now the thing that I think most people don't know, which I'm going to share, okay? There is this option called company data. So I'm going to go and take let's see, I'm going to go look at a sales order. Okay, one of our older sales orders here. Take a look at something. And let's say we look at this order. I'm going to write this down here, 101028, okay? And I know the order number because the customers told me, or I know the PO number, right, because customers told me. Well, I could go back to my tell me, start putting in that number, and the system's going to realize, okay, well, there's no function name 101028, so I need to search company data. So this will go and try to find where that 10128 exists in the database, okay? So it found here, you notice that within the sales order, that there's a sales order 10128, right? And then there's another sales order that starts with S-ORD 10128. So there's two sales orders and there's sales lines, right, associated to the sales orders. So I could really quickly get to the sales order by just searching for it. But let's say I need to search for something that's not in the search table, meaning that delivered out of the box. I could set up where I want the system to go and search and index the various different tables. So outside of just what Microsoft delivers, which is these tables that it indexes, I could go ahead and disable this search only enable list flag and now go through the rest of the tables and tell the system I also need to search projects because I may have a project that's 10128. Maybe I also want to search posted purchase invoices, okay, or AP bills. I need to search that, right? I also need to maybe search, let's keep coming down here, our bank accounts, because there might be some bank entries that I need to search. Well, I could then define what other tables I want to make sure I search across Business Central when I put in a value in my Tell Me search box, right?
Nice.
Which is really huge. So then it'll go and search everything right in it. So if I hit start search now, right, in our case, it's only sales orders, but if there was a project, I would see a project here. Right, search option that came up. So I think that's huge. A lot of people don't know about that. Most people know about searching company data, but they don't know how to take it one step further and search into tables that are not delivered out of the box as part of the setup in company data.
Yeah, that's nice. Very good. All right, number 5 here, which we're kind of started to see then in some of those results, is list views. What can we do with one, what is a list view? And 2, what can we do?
Yeah, so list views is really, really powerful, right? It's the ability to see kind of a lot of data in a glance. So you don't have to go into each sales order, each invoice, get the total of each individual invoice and see, what totals you have in invoices. But instead, I could see groups of data from selected tables in one shot. And it's selective. It doesn't show you every single field in that table, but it gives me a good idea of, right, how much activity I have within that particular table itself, what status it's in, in this case, if I'm in posted sales invoice, what's the remaining amount, what's been paid on the order, so on and so forth, right? But the list view is one thing everybody, I think, knows about it. That's a Business Central user. But to take it one step further is the ability to export in Excel, okay, very easily. And then when I export it to Excel, you'll notice that the system keeps the columns in the same format very nicely, which I think is pretty cool. It's going to go ahead and open up here. Give it a quick second. It's coming up here.
Lots of people owing you money. They're overdue. You've got an AR issue.
Exactly. I do. I have to.
Thank God this is your demo game.
I gotta collect. Yeah. We are in the non-for-profit business, but
evidently.
So you notice here a nice view, right? Totally Business Central data that you just exported. Now you can run any pivots and things like that you want to do. However, let's take that even one step further. Within Business Central, you could take this view into analysis mode, which turns this into almost like a Excel document and is trying to put it in pivot mode for us based on some sums and things that we're trying to do, right? And I could then tell the system, force it to go into pivot mode, right, by this option up here. And now you'll notice based on the columns and rows and values that I'm summing, I got a full pivot table all within Business Central that I could very easily now manage and review and see what's going on, right? And if I want to save this view, I could also save this view. So if I want to save this and tell the system, let's come over here. Let's go ahead and put it as save as, and I could say pivot. Change this to pivot for posted sales invoices, right? So I've saved it. Now, if I go back to my home screen, so if I go back to my all views here, just take that back, take this out of analysis mode. All right, we're out of analysis mode. If I go to my pivot here for PSI and go to analysis mode, this should save my pivot mode and automatically put that in there as I come back to that save as view. So I think that's a really nice handy feature. A lot of accountants, do this all the time, and now you can do this within Business Central. So if you don't know it, now you know it. Use it, play around with it, and I think it'll be pretty helpful to anyone that uses it.
Yeah, it's good because I think a lot of the times when you're exporting to Excel, it's because actually you just want to do this. How many people just download it into a table and then hit insert pivot? Because all they want to do is just quickly do this.
Exactly.
Kind of reduces the number of times you have to download it.
Exactly. Although one thing I would like if Business Central did do, this is just me putting in a side note here, is if these became like hyperlinks, and then this would then create a list page of just these records and this value.
There is an ERP that's very good at doing that.
Yeah, there is. Starts with an A, ends with an A.
Yeah. Funny, that's the one I was thinking of.
I think so.
But where they are strong, especially in BC, is our number 6 here, navigating to other Microsoft apps from Business Central. We are in the Microsoft ecosystem, and when you're in that stack, you get the benefit of being able to leverage other Microsoft apps from here. So let's have a look.
This is a really easy show and tell here on this one, Peter. I click this app launcher on the far left.
Okay, so far, so good. I'm with you.
And I could select any app that I need to get into from here. So which is nice, the interconnectivity of all the different Microsoft products within your ERP. You can bounce around from one product to another very easily, which I think is a huge time saver. You don't have to open up, get onto your desktop or search for any other applications right within BC. Search for that Microsoft product you're looking for and access it.
Yeah, it's great. People are used to this anyway. If you're already in a company that's on a Microsoft tenant, I mean, what company isn't really?
Yeah, exactly.
The ones that are hanging on to Google, but there you go. But yeah, people are used to this, and here it is in BC, so it kind of makes sense, right? You can get straight to any app, and you can also just go straight to creating. You can see at the bottom, creating a Word document, Excel workbook, PowerPoint presentation. Survey is an interesting choice for the fourth one, but Hey, at least it isn't a Microsoft Access database.
Yeah.
And I also noticed as well when you went to export to Excel, there was also the like share to Teams
Yeah.
that we saw
Yeah.
on that list.
Yeah.
On that list.
Hmm.
So, yep, great. Just another benefit of the ecosystem being all in one, I guess.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, cool. Number 7,
Yeah.
page inspection. What the hell is that?
Yeah. So most end users do not use this day to day. You will not use this day to day, but I think it's helpful to understand how the system stores its data, especially when you want to relay issues to like your partner or a developer or you want to know deeper within the table what information is stored. Is there a customization that's affecting my results that I'm seeing, somewhere in the system? So what that's called is page inspection. Okay, and for those of you that probably use Nav, you already know this. There's Control Alt F1. Same concept here. So if I go into a sales order, you know that the system is, the pages are divided up into headers and lines, essentially. So when I go into the sales order, and I want to know what field something is a field custom, is a field not custom, when something was created. Well, you just, I always recommend at least highlighting a field within the header or line table so the system knows where you're looking at. But then what you need to do is hit Control Alt F1 on your keyboard. As soon as you do that, it opens up what we call here page inspection. Okay, so you see information about the page, different elements and sources behind the data. So it's first telling us our page number, our table number. I could view the table, which is nice because if I select view table, this will then take me into the table and I can see all the records in the table. Right now, this may or may not pertain to you. You may not be interested in this, but it's always good to know, how the system stores its data. Let this open up here. So here's all the data in this particular table, and you could very easily see, everything really quickly, and then you could go ahead and export it out and do all that type of stuff. Add filters that you want to do. So let me close out of here. Go back to our page inspection, and then you have this broken up into 3 different areas. You have table fields, extensions, and page filters. So table fields tells you all the fields and values under the field name for our table. So we're in the table, sales order header table. So you'll notice that your reference here is blank, and that's part of the base application, which is the extension. Okay. If I keep going down here, right, if you see any fields in the 50,000 range, that means most likely it is it's a custom field. If you see something in the 60,000 range, 70,000 range, maybe it's part of an ISV, but this gives you more information here in almost every place inside Business Central. If you want to know who created something, when something was done last, I could then search within my table fields, and you can search any field here within there, and it'll tell me here, when I created this order was created by me, when it was last modified. So you always get kind of that deeper insight. So that's table fields. Extensions is telling you what extensions are loaded into this particular table. So this will tell you any customizations, any extensions, right? Base extensions from Microsoft that are delivered. And this is really handy to know, as you're doing things in the system and something doesn't look right, or you want to know if it's base product or not. This will give you a good idea going into extensions on what other apps are installed that affect this table in the system. Yeah. And then page filters, kind of what filters are applied for you to get into the screen. So it's telling us order, open, and the date filter here, basically. So I think page inspection is very valuable. Even if you don't use it all the time, I think it's worth knowing and understanding. I think that'll just help your knowledge and communication in reporting issues and understanding, how data is being stored into the ERP a little deeper.
Yep, and this is something that I use all the time when creating jet reports. Times and times, it's like, oh yeah, I just need these things. And it's like, put the old Sherlock Holmes hat on and use page inspection to see what the hell that field name is called.
Yep, exactly.
Good. There's a really good website, really good, that has the kind of schema visual of Business
Yeah,
Central.
I remember that
Which
one. Yeah, I remember that one. I forgot. I don't remember it off the top of my head. Maybe we'll put it in the show links. We'll find it
Yeah.
and put in the show links to see it. But yeah, it's a very good one. Yeah, it tells you how everything's kind of related from a primary key level.
Yeah. All right, next one, which is kind of, I guess, related because we know that these are modern ERPs and they get 2 major update releases every year, and things change. New column types, new columns are included, new tables, and some of the logic might be tweaked, which can break my world of jet reporting. So oftentimes you need to check what version you're on. So.
Yeah.
How do we do that? How do we navigate around the system to see what version we're running?
Yeah, very easy. This question mark highlight up here on the top right, you select that's called the help. Once you open up the help, you go down to help and support in this menu. Help and support will then take you under find it, give feedback, under troubleshooting. It'll tell you what Business Central version you're on. So I'm on version 26.1, which is the latest version of Business Central, and you have a platform build and an application build. You could, get into more of this technical stuff. You want to know last known error, analyze performance, so on and so forth.
Yep.
But it's this is really easy to know. I think everyone should know what version you're on. This just helps everybody understand, what new functionality they should be expecting or using. And gives you the framework to start researching new functionality and what you should be using based on which version you're on. As you know, Microsoft gives 2 big releases per year, April and October. So I think every user should know what version they're on and utilize that functionality.
Yep, very good. Talking about jet reports and stuff, going back to that, the point we've got here at number 9 is scheduling reports.
Yeah, scheduling reports. So there's a option or a insight box in the Role Center called Reports Inbox. So the Reports Inbox basically will show you reports that you have scheduled to run through Business Central. And I see more and more users taking advantage of this, but I would like to show this anyways. So if I go to, let's say, Age Accounts Receivable, and I want to run this report every day, right? I could go ahead and add my filters here. But then once I select Send To, and anywhere you see anytime you run a report in the system and you see this option Send To, this is where you can start scheduling it. Once you select Send To, you go to Schedule on the bottom, you hit OK, and now you can start scheduling this. So you can schedule the output of this. If you want to print it off to a printer, the date it should run, the next date it should run, the start date, and the date it should expire. Once you set that up, it will go ahead and essentially generate, and then automatically kind of add itself here to the report inbox, so you could go and run the reports. You notice it kind of goes in your OneDrive, and I could open up the report and take a look at it and see what the report showed at the time it ran in my Business Central instance. Come through. Here's my Age Accounts Receivable report as it ran on at midnight, June 22nd, 2025.
Yep, very good. Nice. Okay.
And obviously, Jet's going to be a little bit more powerful than this, but this is what we got for Business Central. If there's something, something like this that, kind of, you think it's going to suffice for you to do it this way, then you have the scheduling capability within BC.
Nah, just reach out with your Jet report requirements. Let us do something.
That's right.
Scheduling, that's right. Dynamic parameters. Oh, God, yes.
I know.
Anyway.
I know.
Distribution lists. Anyway, right. There's 9 out of 10 done. Now it wouldn't be an ABCs of ERP and Beyond podcast without mentioning this. Mm-hmm. This 2-word phrase, also known as just AI. We have to talk about AI, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we should. Yeah, I guess we should talk about AI here. There's probably something there.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. Look. AI, you can't get through an episode without talking about Copilot in Microsoft's world. So I guess I'm just going to open this up. Point number 10, Copilot.
Yeah.
We know Copilot's everywhere. It's in every single thing. It's like Clippy has gone off and has been working out at the gym and has multiplied himself a million times. And we get Copilot everywhere. So it's no surprise that Business Central, Business Central, I would say actually, of the Copilots, is probably one of the strongest ones at the moment.
I think so, yeah.
I think there's a lot more focus here and in Power BI and Fabric. Well, I should actually say just the Power Platform Copilots.
Yeah.
So Business Central, Copilot, what have we got that we can show? Because it's relatively new, right? So it's kind of there. It's kind of included in your license. Whether that's going to continue to be the case, I don't know. Whether they're just waiting for people to get addicted to that sweet, sweet Copilot and then start charging extra. Who knows? But at the moment,
who knows exactly?
But at the moment, we have got Copilot. So what can we do today with Copilot? Because I know that we talked about what we would like to have in the future, where we think this is going to be really strong, especially when it comes to, I guess, kind of what we're talking about today is new people, like onboarding new people. But what can we do with Copilot as it stands today?
Yeah, so inside Business Central, you're going to see Copilot in a lot of places, but it all kind of does the same thing. Here's the Copilot option. Okay, so I could select Copilot, and you'll notice right away that it's in preview mode. Okay, and it gives you an idea of what you could do. So you could look up data, explain and guide, like, teach me something, ask a question, right? And here's some examples. How do I release a sales order? Show the latest invoice, show customers grouped by their locations, and this would kind of create a list view, right? So if I said, how can I create a drop ship purchase order, right? Copilot's going to go out and first it's going to try to go see, am I asking a question that's going to require a, this one came back and said he can't help you with that. All right, let's do another one. Create a drop. How can I create a drop ship sales order? That's interesting. Let's do that again. Okay, create a dropship sales order, see what it comes back with. But first, you got to look up his documentation. Then it's going to say, is it data related, right? And can it group anything, essentially? So here we go. Yeah. So it said, okay, here's how we go ahead and create a dropship sales order. And it went ahead and looked at, kind of give us a step-by-step instruction, which is nice, right? As you're within the system, it tells you what you need to do, what fields you need to select, and how to create a dropship order. And now it kind of gives you some also information. You could instruct your vendor to ship the items directly to your customer. If I also wanted to run, let's say, give me a list of items over $500, right? In unit price, right? If I did that, it's going to go ahead and try to find my items list, and try to create a pre-filtered list for me and take me directly to that list. So let's give this a quick second here and see what it'll do.
It's interesting that dropshipment one. It did actually go into explain on the purchase side of things. I wonder if it's kind of realized that you tried to ask also on the purchase side, and it's just giving you both sides.
Right. So this is cool. It went out and said, okay, unit price over $500. And if I want to view more details, I could go to the item page. And this will then go to the item page, and you'll notice automatically create me a pre-filtered view here based on that criteria I put in there. I could then also go into this tasks. So this is kind of agents. So there's going to be a bunch of agent functionality coming out here in the near future. So it's constantly reviewing your inbox and telling you, are there tasks that Copilot could take on for you, like create sales orders, create purchase orders, do other operation steps. So that functionality is going to continue to get bigger and bigger. That I expect it to get bigger and bigger over time. But if you're not using agents, you're probably not going to see that now. But if you are, it's a pretty simple setup. And we should actually probably do a podcast on agents, Peter, at some point.
Yeah.
So
I would like to also test security on this.
Yeah.
Can someone who shouldn't be able to access the chart of accounts, can they actually find out information through Copilot?
Yeah. So if I said,
I think I already know the answer, but it'd be nice to see that.
Find what is my Oh, so what prompt should I put in there for that?
How much I paid on salary or something.
I paid in salary expense. Yeah, let's see that. All right, this is interesting. Let's see if it takes me in there.
Are you logged in as you're in as an admin account, right? So you
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go that detailed yet from a Copilot perspective, because it doesn't know salary expense. It just knows account GL numbers. So I think if I wrote right,
okay.
all right, if I go to chart of accounts, let's see what it does here for us. So if I said,
what's the current balance of account number, whatever?
Yeah, what is the current balance of GL account number 60700? Okay, let's see what it does. Almost done. There it is, 14,502.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think that was a really good test. Yeah. We should test it with security though.
Try what is the current balance of my processing fees account.
Account.
Processing fees. No, not the number. Yeah.
Account balance
I don't know whether
my GL account.
Let's see if it knows the name.
That's a good one. Let's see. Hey.
Yeah, so it does. So I think maybe that we didn't exactly say what the name of that
salaries, expense.
Yeah, I think they've probably done that. So in the LLM world, there's a thing called temperature. It's it ranges from 0 to 1, and the lower the number, the colder it is. It's not going to go crazy with its probability calculations in the background. So I think they probably made this lower in temperature, so you have to be a lot more accurate with your questions.
Yeah. Create chart of my top 10 customers from last month. Let's see if it does this.
That's a good one.
Almost done. All right, you can create chart to try the report, you can access it here. It just created an Excel? No.
Oh, it's okay. Microsoft Learn.
Yeah, Microsoft Learn.
Look at it getting sassy.
Yeah.
It's like, go and learn how to suit yourself. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, well. Look, it's in preview. I'm not surprised they've turned the temperature down, especially when we're talking about financial data and stuff like that. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. But it's all changing, I guess, with the world of AI. Now we're moving away from just RAG to MCP. So I don't know. Depends if they're going to change things.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. That's it then. They were the top 10.
Yeah.
Well, these are top 10 kind of things to think about when you're navigating through Business Central, maybe for the first time. Maybe you're new to Business Central, or you're suddenly working for a company that is using Business Central, and you're like, how the hell do I get around this? And maybe some of the personalization stuff. So there's some pretty cool stuff that you can do there to kind of make it feel like yours. So hopefully this is giving someone out there maybe a better kind of footing for Business Central in real life, rather than just training sessions.
Exactly.
So if you found it helpful, share it, like, subscribe, all of those things. We have our audio version, which is on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all of the major podcast platforms, as well as on YouTube as well. So check us out, ABCs of ERP and Beyond. Google it and you'll find our YouTube channel, where we do things like this, where we throw a screen up and take a look through an ERP. We do some
Yeah.
tech demos, some training stuff. So yeah, find us and have a look through there. So thank you once again, Nirav. I know that often it's
Absolutely.
your screen that we're looking at. I get to sit back and eat popcorn. But with that, we shoot every 2 weeks. So this will be followed by, we should definitely do an Acumatica version in a couple of weeks' time. Get those back to back done. But until then, enjoy the next fortnight. And I will catch you on the next episode.